Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast after Newcastle United drew their first Premier League game in 4 months at the Amex Stadium against Brighton and Hove Albion. Today, I'm joined, by the way, I'm Michael Grahamslaw, if you didn't know. I'm joined by Joanne and Nicola. I'll start with you, Jo. How's it going?
Really good. As we discussed, obviously I didn't get to see the match because I was actually enjoying a 5-1 win for the Lasses, which is pretty cool. Bit better than anything I've heard about the men, actually. So, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, great win for the Lasses at the end of the season. Fantastic finish as well. But we're also joined by Nick, as I've already said. How's it going, Nick? I know you're one of the unfortunate ones who are still grafting away on a bank holiday, as you said yesterday.
Not right now. Not right now. Yes, I'm good. Really good, thank you. Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Better than I was yesterday.
Perfect.
Me and Kev had a little rant at each other about yesterday. I think we've both got it off our chests. Tomorrow will be
passionate men.
Will be peachy. Yeah, very peachy men. Tomorrow, Wildcard Wednesday, might refire. Who knows? You've just got to tune in.
I'm going to play a ref on that one.
But before we get to that, we've got today's episode, and we're going to be looking through a couple of topics, and then ending on something quite fun because, let's be honest, Sunday wasn't. But firstly, we'll go through a couple of questions I have on the style of play, mainly raised by Ian yesterday, that I thought I didn't really have the answer for at the time, so we'll talk about it and try and get one there. A potential VAR rule change, which actually would have had an impact on yesterday's game, and then we'll finish it off with a game of keep or sell with a little twist, a litlittle Grahamslaw twist, should we say. But to begin, I want to ask the question, obviously. That's a different Wildcard Wednesday.
Wow. That's for the end of the season.
Me, Ian and Kev.
Oh dear God.
On the pod, not very...
Oh, Michael,
do not answer that one, listeners, because I know I don't come out of it very well. But back to the topic at hand. Ian raised it yesterday, not so much Snog Mario Void, but at the minute we look a little lethargic. Typically, you think of Newcastle United, you think we outwork, we outpace, we overwhelm the opposition in the early stages of the game. And we haven't really seen that in recent games. I'm not just going to ask about Brighton, it's Ipswich, Villa, Palace. All of those games had shaky starts. Do you think it's a case that the campaign's starting to take its toll on Newcastle, or is it just a case of teams know what to expect now? We've been doing it for a couple of years. What do you think, Jo?
Well, the last little bit that you put on there was pretty much nailed on the head, really, because, yeah, it's definitely not something that's just happened in the last game, is it really? And I think we, as fans, not just even on this pod, have definitely talked about the so-called predictability of maybe how style of play, or just, as I say, the team in general. Maybe it's down to the lack of changes or the lack of we will not move away from that formation. I know it'll never happen, but you know, guys, I bleat on about the 4-4-2, but it would be lovely to see, wouldn't it? Just every now and again, just a cheeky one. Come on, man. We've got the strikers available.
Callum Wilson up top? Oh, starting the game. Everyone wants that.
Moves me on to exactly what I was going to say, really. I wouldn't put Wilson in. I would have Osula because I just think it would just really mix things up. He would mix things up. He's such a wild card, I think. That it just... Anyway, I'll not go on about him too much because I would 100% had him on 10 instead of Wilson, which I believe you guys and a lot of people also would have, but never mind. Yeah, I think it's a lot of everything. It has been a long season. However, it hasn't been as long a season if we're out of Europe, so we've got to remember and factor that in, considering we are massively pushing for the Champions League next season. But that's, again, when we hope we're going to have a strong summer, isn't it? Really, and kind of push on with a bit of a stronger squad. But mixture of things, I would say, but there's something not quite right in certain games, and from what I've heard, because obviously, as we've said, didn't get to watch the Brighton game, but everything I've heard from you guys, from anyone else that kind of fed it to is that it just either something wasn't clicking, we weren't finishing, we were nothing, we were lethargic was a great one to say, but yeah, so is it predictability? I don't know, maybe.
Completely agree, and we mentioned there, maybe it's a bit lethargic, but something's not clicking at the minute. What do you think that is, Nicola? The $1 million question. I'm sure Eddie's listening. And it'll be fixed against Chelsea, whatever you say here.
Well, it needs to be fixed against Chelsea. It needs to be fixed against Chelsea.
100%.
I guess the two games where I've really seen, I'm going to say struggle recently, has been obviously the Brighton game on Sunday, and then the thrashing that we got from Aston Villa that we deserved, to be honest, because we were not on it. The other games around that, I'm not going to comment on, because I did think we played relatively well and we got the results. I mean, we beat Crystal Palace 5-0, but there has been times since the Carabao Cup final where we've just started so lethargically and so slow, and it hasn't been right. And I think I've mentioned before that particularly since the Carabao Cup final, players like Alexander Isak just look tired. They just don't. That Bruno doesn't look up to it. And then for the first time this season, yesterday, on Sunday's game, Sandro Tonali was completely off pace. $1 million question is, has the season, it's a long season, let's be honest, it goes from right the way from sort of July, August, all the way through to May. Like Joe says, we haven't got Europe this season, but we have had a long season. Obviously, we've went through the whole Carabao Cup campaign, obviously won it, obviously, just in case people didn't know that. It is a long season, and unfortunately for us, we really do only have, I'm going to sound horrible when I say this, we only have that starting 11 that is the strongest, so it is bound to take its toll on that starting 11, which we're starting to see now with the likes of Joey Linton. Obviously, he's out of an injury, and things like that. So I generally think it is just a big case of lethargic. But unfortunately, that doesn't work well with me, because we have 3 games left, and we need to secure Europe. So they just need to carry on for 3 more games. That's all they've got to do. Yeah. And that's a long-winded way of saying we're just tired.
We're just tired. And end of the season, we do only have 3 games left, but one of them, well, I've got another stat here of only 4 teams have scored more goals in the opening 15 minutes than Newcastle, and we're feeling a little lethargic right now. Can anyone guess who one of the teams above us are in that table?
That scored more goals
than us? In the first 15 minutes, little hint, we do play them in just a couple of days.
Chelsea.
Yes, despite being relatively poor this season, they do start games off quite quickly, which we saw against Liverpool as well. And then we mentioned that we were a little off the pace on Sunday. Chelsea were ultimately fantastic, but potentially because Liverpool was still drunk from the week's antics. But are we all a little concerned after Sunday? I was very confident that we were going to finish top 4. Now it's looking at it and going, Chelsea beat we, so it could be game over. Well, what do you think? We'll start with you, Joe. Oh, go on, Joe.
Sorry, I was just going to say something to Nick, actually, because it goes actually very much against everything we just said on the last pod that we just did. We predicted a solid 12 points across the remaining 4 games, so we've really failed straight away because we've already dropped 2. However, it's all right. This is the lads' redemption time. I've got to stay positive. I'm sure you will as well. You will as well, Michael. I'm telling you as well. None of that. But yeah, oh God, man. Look, it was always going to be a worrying game. Brighton was going to be a worrying game. And we even admitted that these 2 are going to be technically probably the hardest games. So Brighton exactly what it was. Let's hope Chelsea isn't as hard. Maybe it was a bit of a kick up the backside for the lads and they will come out stronger against Chelsea. But I've still got to go into it believing that we can do it. But yeah, absolutely bang on. We need to be on it from the get-go, especially in terms of defence, and stopping them being on it from the get-go, mainly.
Yeah, 100%. Nick, what do you think? Are you concerned about things now, or are you still positive mental attitude? Maybe not second, but 3rd and 4th are attainable.
I am positive we are going to do it. We are absolutely going to do it. And I'm just going to comment on Chelsea because they do have a European game on Thursday. They do still have...
Which backwater team are they playing this time? Is it still Durgadurgadins?
It is. I don't know who it is. I don't know. Yeah.
Is it the Swedish team?
That team. Yeah. But it's still an extra. Yeah, it's still an extra game that we haven't got. and they have. So
True.
I am kind of hoping that, I mean, they are winning on aggregate there, but I'm kind of hoping that they are tired from that coming up to St. James Park on Sunday. I've said it before, St. James Park is a ground on its day where teams are petrified of it because the atmosphere crumbles them. And also, just on Chelsea, they might have had a fluke. I mean, obviously they're good because they're obviously competing for Champions League spot this year, but really they're not that great. They're not that great. Come on. They've struggled this year. They've only beat Leicester 1-0. They only beat Tottenham 1-0. They drew against Brentford. They drew against Ipswich. They only beat Fulham 2-1. They only beat Everton 1-0. They're not that great.
I can tell you've just got the scores up, can't you?
I have.
She's on the field here.
Just like,
they're not that great. And Liverpool were clearly on a hangover. And obviously probably Trent just broke the news to them in the change. Yeah, exactly. And Trent probably just broke the news in the change room that he wasn't staying on next season, so they're all too busy crying about it. So we'll just call it an off day. Just call it an off day of Liverpool. Hungover, sad because of Trent. Move on. We're going to beat them. We're going to be fine.
Yeah, we'll ignore the fact that Brighton had just pretty much drawn 1-1 with Leicester and hadn't beat them like Chelsea had. But
fine.
It'll be fine.
Bogey team.
To be honest,
Brighton are a bogey team.
Yeah, I'm being pessimistic, but I do still think it'll be a decent game, and I do think we'll get the result. But we've got a full week of podcasts to talk about that. So, with that, we're going to start quick. We have scored more goals in the opening in the first half than anyone but Manchester City. So, we are going to start quickly. Last 15 minutes of the half were the best in the league. First 15 minutes in the second half were the best in the league. So we're going to nail that to the ground, and we're going to have another brilliant day on Sunday. But for now, we're going to have a brilliant 30 seconds listening to Ken and Bioniq.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
And it didn't repeat.
Yay!
He's finally solved the problem. I did check it beforehand to make sure that it didn't. Not that I haven't done that every other time. But thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And ignore the fact that my voice went when I was saying Ken and just like, Ken! Or something like that. So we'll ignore that. It didn't happen. And we're going to move on to part 2, where we are going to do the first part of a little keep or sell game, where I'm going to start with an absolute blinder, in my opinion. So we'll start with Alexander Isak. So let's say in this scenario.
I'm just
What question is it? Why is he in this?
I'm staring at this and Nick's like face.
Alexander Isak, 2 bids on the table. Arsenal come in, 160 million.
Oh, God.
Or PSG come in at 130 million. Would you still keep Alexander Isak, or would you sell to one of them? And if you were going to sell, who would it be to?
Well, definitely not Arsenal.
So you would, in the 2 scenarios, you would lose 40 million, 30 million to make sure he didn't go to a rival.
I mean, obviously, we're in charge of the finances, I'm desperate not to see him move to another Premier League team.
Yeah,
I've
me too.
said that from the start, because he will leave at some point. I just, come on, we've got to be realistic about it. But to me, I'd rather him go abroad, 100%. I don't care who to. I just don't want him going to any other Premier League team. As simple as that. So, yeah.
So in a world of...
don't really want to be realistic about it. I don't want to live in a world where Alexander Isak played for any other football team.
That's fine.
But I'm going to have to be realistic about it. I wouldn't sell him to a rival team, especially those. Especially them.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
If we're going to be competing, which we are supposed to be from now on, at the top all the time, our owners want us up there competing, it makes zero sense to sell him, even if it is for that little bit of extra money, and I know people will be listening to us going, stop being stupid, that extra 30 million, PSR, blah, blah, blah. But seriously, though, that 30 million, think of the different consequences of having Isaac scoring 25 plus or whatever for what will be hopefully our actual rivals season in, season out. I think that losing that little bit is, do you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I understand
The extra bit of cash isn't worth the addition of quality that would go to our rivals. Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely that, yeah, exactly.
And I had to put 2 ridiculous price tags on there because I knew, I'm pretty sure why Nick was so confused is keep or sell Alexander Isak, and she was thinking, someone would sell Alexander Isak, but for those 2 prices, you'd be up there with legends such as Philippe Coutinho and Neymar, who have gone on to be absolutely fantastic players where they've moved to. But no, Alexander Isak would do better than both, 100%. And those price tags, I think, are the only price tags that could take them away from Newcastle United. And then a second one, gone from one player that I think nobody wants to sell to one that, well, by the looks of social media over the weekend, everybody wants to sell. Jo Nicola.
Oh, for God's sake.
To a mid-table Premier League club for 25 million. Would you keep or would you sell him? Nick, you start.
I struggle with this one. I haven't got an answer.
Okay, Jo, go on.
I'll step in, I was going to say, I've got one, if that helps.
I don't know what I'll do.
Just so everyone knows, just under that advert for Zencastr there's a lot of time paused out there. There's probably an extra 10 seconds that you didn't hear, but because of the brilliance of Zencastr, I can give it.
This is very true.
Ding.
Good ad. Well done, mate.
Mike, it makes me and you look very impatient that we've just went, fine. We'll give an answer.
No, sorry.
That is what happened anyways.
Right, no, let me give an answer. Mid club Premier League club, did you say? Mid-table
Premier League club.
Yeah, sell. I would actually cash in on Jo Nicola now, I think. I know that sounds bad because I did say I would like to see him play against Brighton on our podcast, Joe, but from the stuff that we have seen of this season, he's just not the player that we signed all them years ago. Doesn't have the impact as what he used to, and I think we could probably put that money elsewhere.
Yeah,
and I feel bad saying that.
Now, what do you think, Joe? If a mid-table Premier League club came in 25 million, Jo Nicola, would you sell?
I'm going to say no, just to mix things up, but purely because it's not that I'm not open to selling Willock. I just think for 25 million, I think I would want a little bit more for him. I'm just trying to work out, because me and my dad had this conversation the other day, actually. Do we sell him for 25 million? Who else we buy him for 25 million that's better than him? Can you think of someone? And this is where we kind of had this debate backwards and forwards. So that's based on the fact that you've offered me 25 million. I'm saying no. A little bit more, maybe. We might start talking. I'll get in the boardroom. I'll thrash it out.
Let us know how much you would sell Jo Nicola for in the comments. Is it 35? Is it 40? Is it 170 million like Alexander Isak? Probably not. But,
40 realistic.
We can have fun. But yes. A third one. I've put him in just simply because we would take such a massive loss. Odysseus Vlachimodos, the Greek goalkeeper, as he's called to other Geordies. A Greek side comes in and offers 2 million for the 31-year-old goalkeeper. Are you keeping or are you selling? Jo?
Well, this is a strange one because we've got so many keepers on the books anyway, haven't we? And is he ever going to get a game? And it was a pointless purchase. Well, it wasn't a pointless purchase. It was a purchase that, could pay us off, happy and all this sort of crap. But anyway, never mind. It's a strange one. Cause I would need to know what his wages are and stuff as well. Like, is he on a high wage? Do you guys know anything about that? Would it save us a lot of money in the wages? Because if it does, yes, get him off the books. Don't care how much we're going to bring in for him. If he's actually not on high wages, is it worth kind of just keeping him on? Because almost as a backup keeper, is he happy being a backup keeper?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's too much in that for me to answer that question, strangely enough. So I'm just going to I'll say no, because you want an answer. Okay. So for 2 million, I'm going to say no, because I don't think he's on a really high wage that we're desperate to get him off the books as well.
Yeah, I think he'd be about 50, 60 a week. Not pounds, obviously, 1,000 for anyone that calls me up on that.
But still mad though, isn't it?
Sorry.
Yeah, it is. It's still
It
mad.
is.
He is worth 60 quid to us at the minute. Unfortunately, he's not a great goalkeeper. He's not done the business for us, and we lost out Elliot Anderson in the deal. So if anything, he's worth less than that. He's worth less than that to us, apparently. But what about you, Nicola, the Greek keeper? Would you sell him for 2 million?
No, I think I'm in agreement with Joe here. I think I would just keep him on the books. But to me, though, 50, 60 grand a week for doing nothing.
Mad, isn't it?
It's still mental. Why can't I get paid that? No. Crazy.
Just jealous, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't think it has that much of an impact on our as a whole, on our, I don't know the word, you know what I mean? Like on our wages and our money problems, even though we don't have problems. I can't think of the right technical word.
Just the PSR crap, just call it that.
Just the PSR, yeah. And I'm going to call them petty, stupid rules, the PSR. Petty, stupid rules. So, yeah, I don't think it has that much of an impact on it, so we'll just keep him.
Cool. And going to one that I think the answer is going to be probably unanimous across the entire team. Lewis Miley. I did sort of use Transfer Market to see how much he would be worth. Chelsea offer 40 million. Keep or sell? Joe? Shake of the head?
Nope.
Nick, shake of the head?
No. No.
Quick and easy. Just how everyone likes it. Now, the last one before we go to Zencastr, I did say to Ian I'd get some more in. And the last one of this part, which one should I go for? You know what, Joe, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Jacob Murphy.
Don't do it.
A newly promoted club offers 25 million for Jacob Murphy. Keep or sell Murphy-Aldinho?
Nah. Murphinho's worth more than 25 mil, man. Screw that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know this is peak Murphy,
take?
but what happens if we get another peak Murphy season? Just one more cheeky one? Nah, not 25 million, man. No. What would it take?
Yeah.
Oh. Why you got to hit me like that, man? That's horrible, Michael.
Joe is crying right
what
now.
I'm good at.
What would I sell him for? Oh. No, I can't even answer it. I just don't want to sell him. No, I'm not even answering the question. You only offered me 25 million. I say no. I'm not getting in the boardroom for that one. No.
Fair enough. Nicola, what about you? Jacob, 25 million, a newly promoted club. Sell or keep?
I would say keep, purely on the basis that he is definitely at this current moment worth more than 25 million. But if a club came in and said maybe like 35, 38, 39-ish, then we would maybe offload him. But the question is, I'm going to repeat what Joe said, or whoever it was, about the other, who would you replace him with for that 25 million?
Exactly.
Who could you buy for 25 million?
I'm not a scout.
Well, I'm just saying.
There's no better 25 million winger right now. There isn't. I'm sorry.
No. So you need
all
to,
jokes aside, there's not.
Yeah, if you're wanting better, sorry, Joe, if you're wanting better players in, you need to sell these players. And at the minute, Joe, oh my God, not Joe Willock, bloody hell, Jacob Murphy is worth more than that. He's worth more than 25 mil at the minute, particularly after this season.
Yeah, to be honest, it's two good responses. It's the responses that I wanted, to be honest. And I'm a little disappointed I didn't get a price value out of Joe, but I'll try again at the end of the season.
Only scored another 5 goals in the next
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, after he gets a hat-trick, Nick's only selling him after 50. But we'll move on. We've done 5 now. We'll do the other 5 after our next advert, which is a beauty from Zencastr.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner, with 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start a podcast, it sounds great, and it's delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. And until that.
It's rare. Come on.
Until you
celebrate.
It was very good. And we'll be getting a recorded one ordered in the near future. But yes, we are back with part 3, where we have another 5 players. And we had some easy ones in part 2.
Oh, no.
They aren't so easy in part 3, if I'm completely honest. But we're going to start with the injury-prone defender, the Rolls Royce himself, Sven
No.
Botman.
Now, Nicky, see your turn.
No.
The love of
Get the
Nick's
value
life.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Get the value. Go on.
Sorry, Tyler. But a club
absolute
comes
love
in
of my
from
life.
abroad. A
Oh.
club from abroad, let's say La Liga, comes in with 40 million, which would mean technically we've made a profit on an injury-prone player. Would you keep or sell Sven Botman? And because I did this to Joe, Nick, you start.
He's not injury prone. He's just had a couple of unlucky things happen.
Yeah, he's had more injuries than Abu Dhabi, man.
Michael, look at that.
Away.
I love that. Sorry.
Stop by your time. Come on.
Generally, this hurts my heart. No, I'm not selling him. Not selling him. No.
You can't make her.
I'm not doing
Apparently.
it.
I'm not forcing anyone's hands.
Who would you replace him with? I mean, I'm not going to even ask that question because you're about to hit me with loads more answers.
Gay's apparently available
Gay
for 40 million.
I was going to say, yeah.
No. Stupid answer. No.
All right, that's me, Telt. And you, Joe, Telt,
bet.
actually. We'll move on. We'll take Nick out of the conversation here after our rudeness.
We can finish this one,
but
Mike.
Joe.
Sorry, guys. Love you all. Including you,
Joe,
Sven.
40 million, Sven Botman. Would you take it at this point?
I would go into the boardroom for this one because yes, I would sell him. Sorry, Nick. Just a bit. Hey, you're selling Jacob, so don't look at me like that. Anyway, she's like that a second ago. Now she's scowling. No, I would sell him, but I'd probably ask about 50. I think that's reasonable, right? Because he's still young at the end of the day.
Yes.
Look, he's a bit Wilson-like. Come on, he's
No,
a
he's-
bit glass-like for a big guy. A
Come
bit
on.
Wilson-like. I didn't say fully. Don't worry. He's not fully Wilson, but dear God, he's still got a lot of career to catch up with Wilson.
Wilson's had more minutes this season.
Wilson's. Sad times, Nick.
That's a fact.
The club let
Don't deny
Botman
that.
down. I'm blaming the club.
You
Botman's
are.
original injury is down to the club. I'm sorry, don't come for me, but whoever that physio was needs sacked. I'm hoping they were.
Oh my God, that's brutal.
Right. I would just like to add the thoughts of Neil
We do not
Adams
want physio sacked.
not replicate
My views on my
across
own.
the rest of the team.
My views on my own.
We do not hope that anyone loses their job
Obviously
anytime
not.
in the near future.
But I've had someone here before and said that they let him down with his injury. So no, I'm not selling him. That's my answer. Next.
I would agree with that, to be honest, yeah. We spoke about Sven. We're going to move on to another player that maybe is a bit more of an easier one, actually. Harvey Barnes, a mid-table Premier League club, because I can't see him moving anywhere but England, offers 40 million, meaning Newcastle would make a small profit on the winger. Would you keep or sell? Joe, I'll start with you.
Such a hard one when he's on the best run he's had
Great
for
form.
it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you've got to look at, I suppose, the overall. However, it also goes back to a conversation we have had in the last few pods about what are we trying to do here? We're trying to build a squad where not only have we got an amazing starting 11, but we actually have very good backups as well. So
Yeah.
I'm very torn on Barnes because, again, I've been up and down on the whole selling of him. So I feel like if we were going to sell him, I would want just that little bit extra, a bit like for Botman. I would maybe at least go for 50, get a little bit more profit on the go for it. Otherwise, if it is a solid 40, I am going to say no.
Okay. And what about you, Nick?
Yeah,
You agree?
I do agree with that. I'm gonna say no on the basis if it's 40 million. I do think he's worth, particularly after his current little run. I do think he is worth more than that. He's such a hard player though, because he goes in spits and spouts. Like he has like a run of games where he's so poor, then he has like a block of games where he's so good. So if you were to ask me this prior to when he stepped in for Anthony Gordon at the Carabao Cup final, I'd have said to sell him.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, oof, do we want to sell him?
Yeah.
Yeah, before this run, it probably would have been 30 million, if I'm completely
Yeah.
honest. I thought I was being a bit harsh with 40, and then I remembered, it hasn't been fantastic before that. So 40 is what I said. 50, maybe we could get.
Yeah.
And then I think, who do I go for next? I'll go for one of the central midfielders, which might give you an insight on who another player is. But Joe Linton. Atletico Madrid, because it's the only team I could really see him fitting into other than Newcastle, offer 60 million for the man that Dominic Szoboszlai called the hardest player to play against in the Premier League. Are you taking 60 million for Jo Nicola?
It would be such a profit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Profit on the man who was the worst striker anyone had seen for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
No one could have saw that coming after 6 months.
Would I sell one of our best midfielders ever?
That's a bit of a stretch as well, actually.
I'm joking. Well, currently, the 3 of them, let's be honest, the 3 of them work well together. Would I sell him for 60 million? Guys, do you know what? I think I would.
I've done it. I've found a price you'd sell one of them. I never thought I'd get it.
And that is a huge, huge thing to say. But I'm coming from a thing of, I know obviously money isn't everything, but if you think of the profit we would make on him, what if he drops off next season? I'm not saying he's going to get offered that this season, but you don't know. Yeah, I think I would. Oh, I don't know.
Well, you said you would. You can't take it back now.
Can't take it
What
back.
about
Sold
you, Jo?
now. He's gone.
Bad Joe.
Nick.
No. But just, again, my views are my own, but I obviously don't want him to see him leave.
Yeah. What do you think, Jo?
Well, my child will hate you, Nick, because it's been our favourite player ever since we signed him. She liked him before anyone else did. Nobody liked him.
No, bless her.
She saw that goal against Tottenham and just went, he's the one.
I don't know what it was, bless her. She obviously saw him, and honestly, she fell in love with Big Joe, and I thought it was so sweet because he was awful for her. And I thought, oh, look, he's got a little fan. But anyway, yeah, all jokes aside, just one little fan. No, not for 60 million. No. I think he's too pivotal to the team in as not the obvious way as Bruno and Tonali. I know that sounds bizarre because we're talking about him obviously being part of the 3 best midfielders as we've played together.
That's what I meant by best
for as long as most of us can live. Yeah, of course. So no, I think if I had to go into the boardroom with that one, I would want to be taking a minimum of 80 for him.
A minimum of 80 million for Joe.
I'm playing hardball for Big Joe. I'm playing hardball.
I like it.
I like that though. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And you linked it perfectly talking about that midfield 3 to my next one. I know it's not Sandro Tonali because no one in Italy can actually afford him. No. It is Bruno Guimaraes. The Manchester City tried to sign a centre defensive midfielder in the winter. Didn't really work out for them, but he might be great in the future. But now they need someone. And they've got their eyes on a brilliant little Brazilian called Bruno Guimaraes. They come in with an offer of 100 million. Keep or sell Bruno at 100 million. I think I've gone a bit low in price, but it's what I can see them going for. So, Jo.
This one brings me straight back to what we were saying about Isak. When I said it would hurt to sell him to a Premier League rival or any just Premier League team full stop, Bruno would not just hurt, it would destroy. I can't see that player ever, please God, never in his entire career playing for another English team. I want him to go anywhere but there. If he leaves us, I want him to go to Barca, Real, name any team, in fact, as long as they're outside of England, I'll be honest. So based on that, it's just purely because you've just said Man City have came in with 100 million, it's a flat out no. So, A, I want more, B, no English team would be my answer to that one.
Okay. Do you agree, Nick? Is it the English team or is it the valuation or is it both?
Both.
I can see you not. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Both. I would honestly, it would rip my heart out if he actually said yes to another English Premier League team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. He's one of them players that have just come in and just stole the hearts of, I think, every single Geordie fan in the world. He just really gets us, doesn't he? And that would really hurt. And also, the price tag's probably a little bit too low for him. So yes, wouldn't, in my opinion, I just wouldn't sell him.
Okay, well, you've both complained about the price tag. So my next question is, and it's the same one I asked with Murphy, how much is enough for Bruno Guimaraes? Who wants to shout out a valuation?
I'm not good with valuations. I'm going to say...
Poor Tyler, if he takes you shopping, if you're not good with valuations. Like
well, exactly that.
The bill just racks up and racks up.
120?
I'm buying his time here, by the way. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. I just said 120. Is that high? Is that a bit high for him?
No, it was rumoured, to be honest, around 120, but when I've seen everyone else talking about it, it's been like 80, 90, so I wanted to go a bit higher myself. But 120, I'd agree with. What about you, Joe?
I was going to say a minimum of 120, but again, 100% dependent on it being a foreign team. I just don't
PSG
think Bruno would
120,
leave us.
English 150.
Yeah. Well, like what? Well, yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't even be happy. Like I say, I wouldn't be happy with any valuation going to an English team, put it this way. But I think Bruno has less chance of moving to another English team because, again, going back to what Nick's just said, we love him, he loves us, and I genuinely believe that love is like on the same type of level as well. I don't feel that love from Isak or any other player. It's nothing against Isak, by the way. I just truly feel that Bruno does love us to that degree where it would even influence his moving, if you know what I mean. I think he would rather move abroad as well. So, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, and I agree with what you say. Now, the final one, it's one that's been linked for over a year. Anthony Gordon.
Oh.
And to be honest, some might find this easier, some might find it harder. Liverpool come in with an offer of 80 million or 40 million plus Darwin Núñez. I didn't have the 40 million plus Darwin Núñez down, but I think that's what's been rumoured. So keep or sell. And Joe, I'm going to go to you first.
Well, I'm not a Núñez fan, is the thing, so I'd have to...
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's like the most horrific player on the planet. I'm just not a fan of him at all.
I couldn't even see him fitting in the Newcastle side, Darwin Núñez.
That's what I mean.
Really
I can't see him fitting. I don't like him anyway. So I wouldn't want the Núñez deal, personally.
Good.
I'm fearful if Liverpool came in for a big enough bid that he would want to go. This is where, again, I don't feel his tie. I believe he loves playing for us, by the way, and he looks like he does, and he's done a lot of like kissing the badge and all that jazz.
Yeah.
We can all do that. But yeah, again, I don't feel like he has that pull that Bruno has. So I reckon if a certain team that he wants to move to comes in with the right bid, I think he would push for the move, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll maybe try and get a little bit more than 80 for him, but maybe 80 would be enough. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going into the boardroom for that one. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. So that's been that. Let us know your thoughts and what you'd sell people at. And maybe, just maybe, I'll have some more difficult questions in the future. But for now, that's all from us.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.